Hi, this is Bob Eubanks. You probably know me from the game show world, but I'll bet you didn't know that I'm the only living person to have produced and financed the Beatles concerts all 3 years they toured America. So I've put together a one-of-a-kind presentation entitled Backstage with the Beatles. You'll see seldom-before-seen photos and videos, and never-before-heard stories that lead up to music performed by a Beatles tribute band on stage with me.
Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on? While you see it your way, run a risk of knowing.
The Beatles were flying in from Sweden, and there were 1,000 girls there screaming and yelling, and Sullivan thought it was a member of the royal family. And he said, wow, and somebody said, well, those are the Beatles. He said, who in the hell are the Beatles? But he found out. He decided that like Elvis did such a good job for him, that maybe he should book the Beatles on his show. On February the 9th, 1964, 70 million people watched. And on that night, the music world in America changed. Wait till you hear the stories that led up to their first tour of America. They were about to make some serious money.
The best things in life are free, but you can keep them for the bad days. Now give me money.
How I got the contract for the Beatles concert at the Hollywood Bowl in 1964 is a fascinating story. And I'll tell you, at the end of that concert, it was a hard day's night.
It's been a hard day's night. Been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log.
In 1965, we played 2 nights at the Hollywood Bowl. They were different in 1965. They were road-weary. And an interesting story about 1965 is that they had a meeting at Elvis Presley's house. Wait till you hear what happened there. I'm going to tell you a story. And at first, I didn't believe this story. I really didn't. But then I was at a Beatle Fest in Chicago, and I talked to George Harrison's sister. And she said, no, it's true. So at the end of the second night at the Hollywood Bowl, they were so tired of hearing the screaming and the yelling and the screaming and the yelling. And I'll never forget, they put their instruments down, and John yelled over, we're nothing but a Dr. Pepper pickup band. And they left the stage. Well, they decided they're going to do a song about Dr. Pepper. And their attorney said, you're going to get sued if you do that. So guess what? The doctor became a sergeant.
The Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We hope you will enjoy the show.
In 1966, well, that brought more unique stories and problems. 40,000 kids at Dodger Stadium, and a band that no longer wanted to be together. At the end of the night, I just looked up and yelled, help.
Not just anybody. You know I need someone.
I'm going to leave you with one more story. When John and Cynthia Lennon got a divorce, their son Julian was very upset. And Paul McCartney was on his way over to their house to console the little guy. And on the way over, he kept saying, Julian, Julian, Julian. And by the time he had gotten there, he had written, Hey Jude. In October of 2016, we premiered our one-of-a-kind show, Backstage with the Beatles, at Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. We sold it out, 500 seats, and the audience loved the show. This is a one-of-a-kind show. The reason it's one-of-a-kind is because most of the stories I tell happened to me during the 3 years I produced their concerts here in America. For more information, go to our website, BackstageWithTheBeatles.com. If you love the Fab Four, you're gonna love Backstage with the Beatles.